All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the session. Good morning, good evening. I hope all of you are doing well. Today's discussion, as you guys are aware, is going to be regarding the topic of profile, what exactly it is, how exactly we create it, what all things we do in it. All those things we are going to learn in detail. So, as always, my approach is going to be simple. First and foremost, why do we need it? Second, what exactly it is? And third, how we are going to implement the same. All right, so let's get started. And before I begin, see here. Now, first of all, why it is? In Salesforce, we have got various security mechanisms, out of which now, if as far as the security in Salesforce is concerned, mainly it's of two types. Broadly speaking, one is a external security and another one is a internal security, right? Now, if I have to make it more realistic or more meaningful, it's something like this. If let's say this is my organization or this is my office. Now, in this office, let's say this is the Microsoft Office. Now, in this, there are two people who are walking on the road. Person one, Peter. Person two, Timika. Person one, who's Peter, he is someone who works in Microsoft. Now, if he wants to enter inside the premise of Microsoft, should he be allowed? Answer is yes. But what about Timika? If she is not a Microsoft employee, will she be allowed to enter inside? Answer is no. Right in the beginning, right in the gate, someone, a security guard or the security system which they have in place, that is going to restrict Timika from entry. Now, if we talk about this kind of security in Salesforce, where you are safeguarding your auth from an external or unintended user, that's nothing but a external security. All right. Now, let's say there is one more person and his name is, let's say, Andrew. Now, this guy, he's also an employee of Microsoft. Should he be allowed? Answer is yes. But Andrew is a person of HR department, whereas Peter is a person of marketing department. Now, within a same office, don't you think the premise or the office or the, so to say, the ODC, the development center or the cabinet which they are going to have, the cabin which they are going to have, don't you think that would be different from HR team as well as for the marketing team? Certainly, yes. Which means even within the office, we need a security from the different kind of users. We do not want that Andrew should be able to access the details of the marketing team, not vice versa. If this is the case in Salesforce, where you want that the data of account and data of contact which belongs to different people, or for that matter any object, only my data should be visible to me, only your data should be visible to you, or only my manager should be able to see my appraisal related detail and not others manager. If that's the case, I am willing to protect my objects or the different things which are present inside the Salesforce from the person who is accessing my auth, but they are required to have access to a different data. That's nothing but a internal security in Salesforce. All right. Now, as far as the external security is concerned, we have got various ways. We can use IP ranges. We can restrict the IP ranges from which IP I should be able to log in, from which IP I should not be able to log in. For example, let's say if we have got a situation where, let's say I want that who are having a laptop in Microsoft, they should be able to log into my server only when they are in the office. But when I tried outside the office, they should not be able to log in, even if they are the correct user, even if they are the authorized user. Why? Because once they go back home, I do not have any control on what kind of access they are having for a data, or whether they are manipulating the data, or whether they are cloning my data, so on and so forth. So I would want to restrict them only for my specific requested IP. I should be allowing them to access the system. And if that's the case, I have got a IP related security setting in Salesforce. Likewise, we can use login IP ranges, login hours as well. We can ensure that which person should be able to log in at which particular hour during 9 to 5, during 8 to 4, on which day, on which on which working day they should be able to log in, on what days they should not be able to log in, so on and so forth. Now, as far as the internal security is concerned, again, there are various ways. Broadly clarifying it, there are three levels of security which can be provided. First and foremost, at the object level, second, at the record level, and third, at the field level. Okay. Now, as far as the object level security is concerned, we have got again various ways. First and foremost, we have concept of profile. Second, we have got the concept of permission sets. In record level security, we have got OWD as the record level security mechanism. Then we have got role hierarchies. We have got manual sharing. We have got sharing rules. And for a field level security, even we can define which particular field should be available for a user or visible for a user, and at the same time, which particular field should be read only, right? Now, this is a brief of the whole security architecture which we have in Salesforce. As far as the external and the internal security concept is concerned, we are going to focus on the concept of profiles today. Okay. And as always, I'm going to tell it in a way, even if you have not learned it till now, or even if you do not know it till now, it is going to become crystal clear to you. At the end of the day, I'm also going to tell you some important questions which can be asked with respect to the profiles. So stay tuned and enjoy the learning. Now, let's see here. When we talk about a profile, understand it like this. Let's say we have, again, Peter. We have got Parth. Here we have Peter. Now, as far as these two persons are concerned, let's say Peter is from HR team. Parth is from development team. He's a Salesforce developer, or he's from tech team. Now, in this case, if I am willing to make a company, what I will do, if these are the two departments which I'm going to have, first, I am going to take the premise or a place, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take a rented place, or maybe I'm going to purchase it. In that particular space, I'm going to make one department for my HR team. So let's say this is my HR department. Then I'm going to make one department for my, let's say, development team or my IT team. And after this, I am going to have, let's say, some premise for, let's say, some sort of sports. There are various indoor sports. There is a foosball, there is a TT, so on and so forth. There is a cafeteria too. Now, look, since the employees can be more, there is a fair possibility that the sport equipments which I have, they may become less, or they may, there may be a situation where if everyone comes up to play, they will not be able to play these, use these instruments or use these tools. Now, therefore, what we are saying is, look, there are certain guidelines too. There are certain guidelines, or in other words, let's say there are certain rules. The HR team should be able to access this particular sports area during, let's say, 9 to 1 p.m., whereas finance team should be able to access it from, let's say, 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. All right. Similarly, HR team, everyone has to finish their dinner before during 1 to 3, whereas finance team has to IT team has to finish their dinner, or my bad, their lunch from, let's say, 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, whatever the timing is. Now, in this case, if you have understood this particular architecture well, it is exactly the same case with the profiles as well. So, in case of profile, for example, what is a profile? Now, in simple words, please note, profile is simply a concept where you can relate it with the concept of department. In the HR department, no matter how many employees you are going to have, all of them are going to be subjected to the same guidelines. As on, same is the case here. Whenever we create any kind of profile, whenever we want that certain group of people or certain group of users should have certain basic profile or certain basic, basic rules or basic features assigned to them. In that case, we create a profile. So profile is same like how we have a department in a real time. Every department, one department can have multiple people in it. Likewise, one profile can be assigned to multiple users. One profile can have multiple associated users here. Second, for one department, whatever the rules are applied, they are going to be applicable on all those people who are part of it. Similarly, all the people who are part of profile, every setting, every changes which are made to the profile, that is going to be applicable for all those users. Third, in case, in case, now, what kind of security settings or what kind of rules we can define here? Various things. For example, in the profile, you can define what all objects you are going to access. Then you can also define that even for those objects, what kind of access settings you want to give. You want to give the create access, read access, update access, delete access, so on and so forth. These are the different accesses, which we are going to discuss in detail in the today's session. After that, we can also discuss which tabs are going to be visible. We can also see, we can also assign that what kind of data should be visible to the user. That can also be decided, that can also be defined. Then apart from that, you can also define whether the reports should be visible, whether the person who is part of profile will be able to run the report, run the dashboard, so on and so forth. All these things can be defined in the profile. When we talk about profile, please note, we cannot create a profile right from scratch. That's not possible. There is no situation where we can create the profile from scratch. So what's the solution? Solution is we always have to clone the existing profile, whatever is suitable as per our requirement. Fine. That's what it is. So now without any further delay, let's get started and see this thing in fact. Now, see here. Now, what this requirement says? It says Airbnb, a global online marketplace for lodging and traveling experiences, requires the creation and configuration of a specialized Salesforce profile for a tech engineers. Please note, whenever we talk about profile, it is simply talking about a department that we need the tech engineers. There is a department of tech engineers, and for those tech engineers, we want to create some sort of department. As simple as that. The object is to align this profile with the unique role and responsibilities of tech engineers who are responsible for managing, analyzing, and reporting on data related to the property listings, bookings, user interaction, and other critical aspect of Airbnb platform. So if you see here, they are saying that we have to define certain kind of rules and regulations for this particular profile. Now, what all rules we want to profile or what all rules we want to give them? View all data. Now, when we talk about view all data, let me see, since some of the learners who are with us today, they are from the admin background and I have interacted with them. Tell me guys, what is a view all data setting? What is a view all data? If anyone knows, please type one. What do you think? What exactly is a view all data? If you do not know, anyhow, I'm going to answer it. But what about the learners who are with us and who have gone through the admin training? Let us know. What do you understand by view all data? All right. So Temi, please go ahead.
I think it's the ability for the engineers to view the data on the system without having extra permissions to edit or change anything at all.
Good, good. So if that's the case, the question for you, Temi, what is view all and view all data? Is there any difference between these two?
View all and view all data.
Yes.
No, I don't know, to be honest with you. I
No
haven't come
problem.
across that
So
at all.
well done, well done. Your first answer was correct. What is the difference between these two? I will answer at the end when I have explained the concept of profiles. But meanwhile, if anyone knows the answer, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay, now, so we are going to give the view all data facility. We are also going to give the facility for the data reporting, dashboard creation, data import and export, and manage users. Please note, not only these settings, but many more can be added, can be given. based on the concept of profiles. Profile, if you just go ahead and if you look at any profile, it has got lot many settings. These are just few important ones. Okay, now, so in that first step, it says that do one thing, create a custom profile for a tech engineer. So what I would do is I would go to my respective org, go to the setup option, click find box, type profile here, click on this. Now, those of you who want to perform this activity along with me, please log into your org and you can keep on performing this, this activity alongside, along with me. See here guys, what I'm saying? I'm saying that in a real-time project, as I mentioned, that whenever you want to create a profile, in that case, please note, first of all, you cannot create a profile right from a scratch. You will have to clone an existing profile. Point number one. Point number two, when we talk about a profile, please note, even the existing profile which you are willing to clone, that has to be also dependent based upon the license which you are using or the license of a user. Why do I say so? See here, if I am creating a profile now, here I'm also going to tell you how exactly you can create a user. So please pay attention here. It is something very important. So let's say I am interested in creating a user. I'll click on user here, right click on this, open link in new tab. Let me type profile here. Okay, already I'm in profile, so that's fine. Go to the user tab. Now click on new user and look at it. Keep your focus in these two sections. One is user license, one is user profile. See here, right now the profile which is being displayed to me is Salesforce API only system integration, which is a standard profile, right? Now, if I change my license, let's say if I make it to Salesforce or Salesforce platform, now in this case, are you able to see that particular profile which I was seeing earlier, the integration one? Answer is no. And that's the reason why I mentioned very clearly that while creating a profile, please create a profile depending upon the license of a user. So profile is directly dependent upon license, which means if I'm willing to create a user in future and that this user is going to have, let's say, a Salesforce platform license, and if my new profile which I'm creating, that particular profile is not based on this particular license, then when I select his license and when I try to select the profile, the new profile will not be displayed because this particular profile is not created based on the specific license of Salesforce platform. So keep this point in mind while creating a new profile. Generally, in a real time, you will get this information from the business, but whenever you are creating it, please have a please have an please have a clear-cut idea about it. Okay, so look at it. In this case, I am going to use standard user profile, and it says that this is based on the Salesforce license. Okay, this is based on the Salesforce license. So which means a new profile which I'm going to create, that would also be created for a license of Salesforce. All right. Now look at it. If I try to select any Salesforce user, do I have any? Answer is no. Why I do not have any? Because that particular profile, this is a free all, and in my free all, I have already created two users, which is a maximum limit of Salesforce licenses for a free all. So that I have already consumed. Now the question is, how do I get it back? For that, what I would do is I will go ahead and deactivate my one of the existing user. See here, this is John Dean. So I'll just go ahead. I'll deactivate this user. If it does not have any dependency, it will allow me to, it will free up my license and I will be able to use it. It says, no, this cannot be done because there is an email alert which is being sent for this user. So I will have to clear it. For you, it may not come because you guys might not have any other user with a Salesforce license. For me, it is coming. So I will have to remove this dependency first. And after that, I will be good to proceed further. So let me just try to delete it. If it allows me to do that, I'm sorted. If not, I will have to delete that. If not, then I will have to do something else. It allowed me to delete. Fair enough. Let me delete the second one too. No dependency now. Just go ahead and try to delete it. Try to deactivate that user, and after that, my user license will get freed. So click on OK. Click on Save. This step of deactivating is not necessary that it will come for you, so you need not bother about it. Click on New User, and after this, now I will get an option for Salesforce. Look at it. Correct? So good. Now let's proceed further. Give the profile name, and for the profile name, I'll give exactly the same name as Tech Engineer. While creating this kind of requirement or while performing these hands-on exercise, those of you who are joining me for a very first time, please note you are not supposed to keep any kind of spaces before or after, and always give exactly the same name which we have given in the requirement, because we are validating your changes against these particular API names itself. So click on Save. Got saved. Now look at it. What it says, clone from existing profile of standard user, done. Profile description we need to give. We did not give it, I think, while we were creating it. So no problem. I will give it now. Custom profile for tech engineer. Click on edit once. Give the description here. Custom profile for tech engineer. Click on save. Second thing, it says we have to give certain kind of administrative settings. Now, these are the rules and regulations which I was talking about. See here, first I need to give the manage user setting. So I'll copy this, click on edit once, Control F, Control V, manage users. Now look at this. Whenever you are dealing with any of these settings, make sure that you are reading about these tooltips. You are reading about the settings which are there. It is going to give you more clarity. Look at it. What it says: reset user password, unlock the users, view all the users, manage profiles and permission set, assign the permission set, manage the rules, manage the IP addresses, manage sharing, view setup, configuration, internal users, password policies, login access hours. All these settings will be given to everyone, every person who is part of this particular profile. So just enable it. Done. Second, after this, reset the user password and unlock the users. So I'll copy this, Control F, Control V. Now this is by default selected. Why? Because I selected the option of manage users, and there it was categorically mentioned that reset the users, reset, unlock the password, so on and so forth. If you are not able to recall, stay here. I'll just navigate on this. Look at it. What it says: reset user, password, unlock users. All these permissions will be given as soon as you select it. Done. Second, view all users. This is also already given. So because I have already selected it, look at it, view all users. What it does, it will allow you to view all the users who are there in the particular profile. So every person who is part of this particular org, I will be able to see them. Fair enough. View all data. Now, this was something which I was discussing earlier, and not just view all data, but we also have something called as a modify all data. Please pay attention here. Look what it says. Read and view all on all the standard and custom objects. View setup and configurations. View event log. View dashboard in the public folders. View reports in the public folders. View login. Then view real-time event monitoring. All these settings will be given. As soon as I'm going to select it, you will notice a change over here in the view all section. Okay, look at it. There is a view all section. In this particular section, you are going to change. You are going to see the note. You are going to see the change. So let me select it. Scroll down. Scroll down. Look at this, guys. Earlier, was it checked? Answer is no. Is it checked now? Is it checked? This has it checked my view all flag for all the objects? Answer is yes. So the point is, it's like this. Whenever we talk about any object, whether standard or a custom, Salesforce says, look, there are four permissions, 4 plus 2. Okay, 4 plus 2. CRUD means that a person who has got this profile, for example, if Peter has got the new profile of tech team, which I'm creating right now, if Peter is part of this particular profile, he will be able to create, read, update, or edit and delete. Please note with this particular point, I have seen all the learners being confused. Most of you will have confusion regarding this. When we talk about create, read, edit, and delete, or create, read, update, or delete, it is talking about all these features of the own record. It does not mean that Peter will be able to create, read, update, or delete the records of others by using these four basic access. Please note these basic access are just for that particular person. Peter will be able to create, read, edit, and delete his own records, not the records of Timika, not the records of Anna, nothing. Okay. If they want that, if they want that, then in that case, there are other security settings which are in place or which we will have to implement. Now, another thing, when we select view all data, then what it does? Now, what is a view all? Now, when I say view all, let's say if Peter has got, now with a basic permission, what he will be able to do? He will be able to create, read, edit, and delete his own record. But if in his profile of tech firm or tech team, if I give the access of view all, for a particular object, let's say for a account object. Now, earlier Peter was, when he was not having this particular setting, earlier he was able to see only the records which he had created. For example, if he has created 20 records, only those 20 account records were earlier visible to him. But after giving the permission of view all, he will be able to see all the records which are there in the account object, whether it's a 10 record or whether it's a 10,000 records, all those records, irrespective of who is that person or who is the owner, every record will be exposed to Peter. Why? Because for a particular object, the view all setting has been enabled. That's what is a view all. Please note, I'm saying view all, not a view all data. And when I talk about view all data, view all data is a setting by which if I select the flag, then immediately this particular option of view all will get selected for each and every object, whether it's a standard or whether it's a custom, which simply means now the person who is going to be part of this particular profile, he will be able to see all the records from all the objects. He will be able to view all of them. That's a view all data. So if in the interviews you are being asked this question that what is a view all and view all data, please tell them view all is based on a specific object. If I want, let's say if I want that Timmy should be able to see all the records of account, in that case, I'm just going to enable this particular setting for her so that only she will be able to see all the records of account irrespective of who all have created the account. Okay, not only her record, but the record of other as well. But if I give her a view all data permission, then in that case, she will be able to see all the records of all the objects. Okay. Similarly, we also have something called as a modify all data. What exactly it is? Modify all means a person will be able to modify the records. He will be able to modify, he will be able to edit, he will be able to read, correct? If you select this option, then it is only going to talk about a particular object. If you go for modify all data, then whomsoever has this particular setting, he will be able to have modification access for all the objects. All right, that's what is the difference between view all and view all data, as well as modify all and modify all data. Now, going back to the requirement once again, say here it says give the create and customize report permission to. So I'll just copy this, paste it here. Now look at it. It says that person will be able to create the report. He will be able to customize it. So that is also given. Further, manage reports in the public folder. So if I type it here, look at it, what it says. View reports in a public folder, create report folders, edit my reports. All these features if you want to give for this particular profile or a department, select it. Then manage reporting, snapshots, Control F, Control V. Now look at it. View setup configuration, run the reports. Select this option as well. After this, create a report related folders. So if you want the department to be able to create the report folders, select this particular option, which is already checked. Further, edit my report. This option will also be selected, I'm sure. Look at it. This is also selected so that you will be able to edit it. Report builder, you will be able to see the report builder for building the reports, the tool which Salesforce gives us by default. Enable that as well. Now, in the interviews, I have seen this question being asked that a person is not able to run the flows. Though it's a different topic, but still I will ask this question. The person is not able to run the report. In that case, please note, if a person does not have a run flows option in his particular profile or permission set, in that case, he will not be able to run his flows. Similarly, if somebody asks that person does not have, he person is not able to run his report, in that case, you have to tell them that run report option is missing from the profile or the permission set. Next, report builder. Enable this for a lightning scheduled report. Now, what is a scheduled report? Sending a specific report at a specific time. That's what it is. So enable this one as well. Subscribe to the reports. Certain specific people or certain users from your Salesforce or can subscribe to the specific report so that they will get notified whenever the new report runs. That's a subscribe report feature. Then a few more, I'll quickly just go ahead and give these permissions as well. Manage custom report type. Now, this is something interesting. See here, it talks about managing a custom report types. What do you understand by report type? What is a report type? Whenever you go to create a report, in that case, it asks you that what is that object on the basis of which you want to create the report. It can It can be combined object like account and lead, account and contact, or it can be standalone object like account, contact, etc. And also Salesforce says that you can create a custom reports as well. So if you want to create a custom report type, then in that case, this particular flag has to be checked. Next, manage the dashboard. Now, what is a dashboard? It's a graphical representation of the reports. So if you want that, in that case, manage dashboard should be enabled. Enable that as well. Next, create and customize the dashboard. So for that also, if you want that feature, you will have to enable this particular setting, create and manage the dashboard. And now create dashboard folders. If you want to create the folder in the dashboard, then it has to be enabled. And if you want to edit it, then in that case, edit my dashboard has to be enabled. Enable this as well. Next, subscribe to the dashboard, same as subscribing to the report, just that it is for a graphical representation of data, which is nothing but our dashboard. So subscribe for this. Next is manage all the private reports also. So for that also, there is a setting, manage all the private reports, then manage the dynamic dashboard. Now, a question for everyone, what is a dynamic dashboard? Since some of you are coming from admin background, let me know what do you understand by a dynamic dashboard. Think over it, and if you are not able to answer it, I will help you out. Then import the leads, give this particular feature as well, create the leads, edit the leads, so on and so forth. Import custom objects. If you want to import the custom objects, then that's another thing. Enable that as well. Further, export reports. Whenever Salesforce says that whatever the reports you are creating, they can be exported in the CSV format. They can be exported. If you want that, then export report flag has to be checked. Weekly data report or weekly data export. If you want to do that, if you want to weekly export your data, then for that also we have got a setting. And last but not the least, manage public list views. So all those list views which are not private, which are the public one, if you want the user to manage that, then in that case, you can select this particular flag. Quite a lot of settings, indeed, yes. However, please note, all these options will ensure that person will be able to see the records of others, person will be able to create the users, person will be able to manage the users, reset the password, unlock the users, he will be able to create the records, You will be able to create the reports, folders, dashboard folders. You will be able to run the report. You will be able to create the dynamic dashboard. You will be able to export the dashboard, so on and so forth, right? Now, after this, now all these things we have done. My profile is created. Click on save. But after creating a profile, do you think that if the profile is not created, or if the profile has been created and it does not have any associated user, is it going to be of any use? Answer is certainly no. If I say that I have created a profile but I'm not using it, your first question would be that Siddhant, why the hell are you creating it? Isn't it? It seems like you created a department, but there is no person who is part of that department, right? So what I would do is now I'm going to add the user in this particular profile. And when I say I want to add the user, that user has to be created first, right? Even when you join the company, in that case, first your user record is created and then you are mapped to a certain department, isn't it? So now let's go ahead and create the user. Now, those of you who do not know how to create the user, for you it is going to be a new learning. So please pay attention and say here, I need to create a user called as John Dean. And this user, let me click on user section, give the name John, give the last name as Dean. Alias is SGL, and after that there is an underscore, and I can mention anything. Let's say I'm writing JD, John D. Further, it is asking me for an email ID. Now, as far as the email ID is concerned, I do not have many email IDs. So what I will do is I'll search for temporary mail, and this particular temporary mail ID I'm going to copy. Now let this particular page load. I have got a new mail ID here. I'll copy this mail ID and I will paste it over here. Now come to the requirement again. Username, it says any unique username is fine. Nickname should be JG2. So let me give this nickname here, JG2. Role, I can choose any role. Even if I do not choose anything, then also it's fine, but I'm choosing something. Then profile is going to be a tech engineer. Now I'll choose Salesforce here. And since the new profile which I have created that was based on Salesforce license, therefore I will be able to see it. Look at this, tech engineer, where it is, solution manager, customer contract manager, so on and so forth. What was my profile name? It's tech engineer and it's based on Salesforce license. Let me select it. Let me search for Salesforce license, Control F, Control V. I think I will have to load the page. I might have opened it earlier and that's why it's not showing me my changes. No problem. Let me do one thing. Let me refresh the page once. Now, fine. So let's go ahead and let us create this user. So my user is John Dean. Let me quickly do that. John Dean and alias is, I want to give it as SGL followed by some suffix. So let's say underscore JD. I need to give the email ID. So I'm copying an email ID here. I do not have many. So I'm just using a temporary one here. Username, I can give any username. That's fine. In case of nickname, I'm expected to give JD2. So let me give that as well. Title, am I required to give any title? Not really. So that's fine. A role, I can give any. Profile is going to be a tech engineer. So role, I'm just choosing as CFO. User license is going to be Salesforce. And since I have created the profile of tech engineer based on Salesforce license, this profile will be available for me. So just go ahead. Since I have refreshed the page, it is coming here. After this, active is true, flow user, again true. So let me search for flow user here and click on save. My new user has been created, and since my new user has been created, now after this, if I try to create another user with a license of Salesforce, you will find that now for me, the Salesforce license will not appear as it was not appearing for me earlier, and also at the same time, how it is not appearing for Brazil as well, right? So let me click on users once, click on new user and click on license of Salesforce. Are you able to see it? Answer is no. Why? Because it has already been utilized. All right, so that's the second stuff. Now our requirement has been done. Now, what I'm going to do is, since I have given view all data and all those settings, I am going to log in as my second user of John Dean. Now, please note, for me, if you notice in this case, I am getting a login option over here. However, for some of you, this option may not appear, especially for those learners who have joined us for a very first time and who do not know how to create the profiles and how to create the users. If you are one of those users, for you, I'm quickly going to tell you some settings which are going to be immensely helpful for you. Please go ahead and do that in your developer org, not in a real-time org, because these are the crucial settings. First, search here as login access policies. Click on this. And now there will be one option where it says administrator can log in as any user. Just enable this. Once you enable it, for you, this particular setting will ensure that right after your active users, this login option comes up. So by doing this, I do not have to log into my mail ID, which I have got over here for login to this particular user. I do not have to use this particular mail ID. Okay, that's the point number one. Now, point number two is after you enable this setting, after you log in as any other user, what generally happens is if let's say this is Sid, if Sid logins to let's say the org of Salesforce, this is my Salesforce org. If I log in here, after I log in as a different user, let's say I'm trying to log in as John, then when I log out from this user, I will be also logged out from my own account. And if I do not want that, if I want that as soon as I log out from John Dean, I should be logged in to my own auth. If I want that, then you will have to make a change in a place called as session settings. Click on this. Now here, just scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. There is an option called as force relogin after logging as another user. Just disable it. If it is enabled, you'll be forced to relog in after you log in as any other user. So just do that and you will be sorted. These were the two prerequisites. I will log in as John D, the new user which I have created, and after that, I am going to verify whether the tabs are visible and at the same time, whether this person is able to create the reports, he is able to do other things which we have mentioned or not. So just do one thing, click on any objects here. Let's say account, click on all accounts and look at this. Am I not able to see all the records of account? Answer is yes. And not just this, if I log in, if I just go ahead and if I show you all the number of records which are there in the account object, you will find that there are altogether 19 records which are there. So let me do one thing. Let me type some query here. Now this is a part of development. So even if you're not able to understand this, this is completely fine. Just pay attention and just have a look at this particular place. Let me mention select count from account and look at it. How many count it shows? It shows me the count of 19. And if I just show you the records here, let's say ID comma name from account, look at this. These are the 19 accounts which I have in my respective org, which simply means that I am able to see all the records. And this is happening because we have enabled view all data, and that is ensuring that I should be able to see all the records which are there. Right now, apart from that, we have also given the settings for creating the reports, dashboards, everything is there. See here, I can create a new report. Not only the report, I can also create the dashboard as well. So if I just click on this, it is loading, let it load. Look at this. It asks me for a report type. I can create the new report. Similarly, for dashboard also, I will be able to create a new dashboard. new folder. So everything which I have done is working perfectly fine. Now it's a time for me to go ahead, validate the changes, and after that, I am going to go ahead and tell you some important questions for your interviews so that in your interviews you will be sorted. See here, step one completed, step two completed, and this particular requirement has been successfully completed here, right? Now, let me go ahead and let me tell you some important questions which are going to be quite important for your interviews. See here, guys, look at it. Can we change the license of profile once created? A very important question. Most of the time, interviewers trick it. A trick you know by asking this question. Can we change the profile of the user once we have created it? Answer is no. Once you assign a license of the profile once for that particular profile, a license cannot be created, cannot be changed. Okay. Can we change the license of a user? Answer is yes. Can we change the profile of a user? Answer is yes. But if you have created a Salesforce based on a Salesforce license, if you have created a profile called as tech engineer, now can you change this particular license for this particular profile? Answer is no. That's not possible. License of the user can be changed. Answer is yes. Can we have more than one role for a person, or can we have one more than one profile for a person? Answer is no. One person, only one profile, not many. Can we have a user without a role? Yes. Can we have a user without a profile? Answer is no. So there cannot be any user who is not part of any department. Even in the real time world, if you see, can we have any user who do not have any kind of associated uh, any associated department? Answer is no, right? Every person who works in the company will be part of certain department. So same is the case here as well. Whatever we do in the object setting, is it specific to any app? Answer is no. It's not specific to any app. It is specific to the object. It simply means that if I'm using one account object in my sales app also, in my service app also, so whatever the changes I'm going to make, is it only specific to sales app? Answer is no. It is applicable everywhere wherever this particular object has been utilized. Fine. Now, what is the correlation between a profile and the license? The same thing which I discussed in the beginning, that licenses are going to define which profile you are going to have. Fine. Licenses are going to define which profile you are going to have. Now, in interviews, sometime a question can be asked, what is the meaning of license? Okay. So please note, in simple terms, license defines what a person can do. So, for example, if I have got a system admin license, okay, if I have got a system admin license, being an admin, I will be able to create a profile. I will be able to do a lot many things. Whatever the security settings we have discussed, all those things I can do. That's a license. So it seems like in a real-time world also, you have got the two-wheeler licenses, you have got the four-wheeler licenses. What it defines, a person can drive a two-wheeler, a person can drive a four-wheeler. That's what it is. So exactly the same case is there with the license of Salesforce as well. Now, next counter question can be asked to you that, okay, if that's the case, then what is the meaning of addition, or what exactly is the addition? Please note, when I say addition, addition simply means what your org can do. For example, in my case, right now I'm using a developer org, right? So if it's a developer org, I have got a restriction with respect to the a lot of things. I cannot have more than two Salesforce license user. I cannot have more than, let's say, 500 fields in my objects. I cannot have more than certain number of objects. I cannot have more than certain number of records, so on and so forth. So my edition decides what my org can do. License is defining what a user can do or a person can do. Okay, that's a differentiation between both of these. Next, can we skip selection of user license while creating a user? Answer is no. That's not possible. Role selection can be skipped? Answer is yes. Can we skip the profile? Again, the answer is no. What is the CRUD or CRED permission? The CRUD permission defines the basic access for a user for his own records. Please note, more often than not, I see in the interviews that learners, when I ask them a question, that person has got a different settings, and he do not have any kind of CRUD access. He has got, let's say, the OWD. Now it is another security setting. If you do not know, it is meant for a record level security at a broad level. When I say that OWD is private, person OW is public read only, and a person does not have any kind of thread access. Will he or she be able to see the record? More often than not, most of the learners fall for this trap and they say yes. If the OWD is public, person will be able to see the records. Answer is no. If the CRUD itself is not there in your profile, you will not be able to see the tab itself. So therefore, make sure that CRUD is there. CRUD ensures that you will be able to deal with your own records. And this is a basic permission. If you want that any person should be able to see the records, modify, delete, or edit, in that case, he should have at least this permission. Okay. Now, next is what are the view all and modify all settings we have discussed in detail. View all lets you see all the records for a particular object. Modify all lets you modify the records for a particular object. And the next question is what is a view all data and modify all data? Answer is very simple. View all modify all is for a specific object. View all data and modify all data is for all the objects, whether standard or custom. For all of the objects, these settings are applicable. Next, a question for you. Read this question and tell me what do you think, what would be the answer of it. Assume that there are two departments. Of course, when I say departments, I'm talking about profile. Department number one is a finance department. Department number two is a marketing department. In the finance department, we have got Tina, we have got Harish. In the department of marketing, we have got Lalit, we have got Jayesh. In the finance department, now we are saying that they are dealing with the same object. So let's say they are dealing with the account. Both of them are dealing with the account. In both of their profiles, they have got the access for account object. Okay. Now, in case of finance department, the modify all flag over here, the modify all flag for the object of account is checked. Now, by seeing this particular requirement, tell me, what do you think? Which statement is correct? Will Tina will be able to see the records of Harish only? Record number 2 or the statement 2 says that Tina will be able to see all the records of Lalit, Jayesh, but not Harish. And record number 3 or the statement number 3 says none of the above. What do you think? If all these 4 people, Lalit, Jayesh, Tina, and Harish, all of them are creating the records in the account object, and for a finance department, modify all flag is checked, what do you think? What will happen in this case? All right, say guys, first thing first, in this case, when I say that in case of finance department, a modify all flag is checked, it simply means that if I say modify all, let me do one thing. Let me show you on the UI so that it will make more sense. This is my profile. Click on edit. Scroll down, scroll down. Now look at it. See here, if I am just unchecking everything, look at it. I clicked on modify all. What happened? I can go ahead, read, edit, delete, view all, modify all, correct? What my requirement says that in this case, Tina will be able to see all the records of Lalit and Jayesh and not Harish, correct? Lalit and Jayesh record she will be able to see, but not the records of Harish. So which means if this is my account object for account, finance department guys, these two guys are also creating the record in the account, which is Tina and Harish. In the same account, even Lalit and Jayesh are creating the records. So they are creating the record in the same object. Let's imagine that they have created 20 records. These guys have created 40 records. So altogether, how many records are there in the account object? There are 60 records, correct? Now, these 60 records which have been created, now will Lalit and Jayesh will be able to see this record? Does it talk about any kind of view all and modify all given for a profile of marketing? Answer is no. In case of finance, it is there. The modify all is there. And when I enable the modify all, you would notice that immediately the read option gets enabled automatically. It's a wise thing, right? I mean, it's a logical thing, isn't it? If you can modify something, it means you are able to see that, right? So, which means I will be able to see now all the records which are there in this particular object, no matter who all is creating it, whether Lalit is creating, Jayesh is creating, Tina, Timika, everyone else who is creating the record in this object, everyone's record, whether it's 6,000, 60,000, doesn't matter. All of those records will be visible to every person who is part of this particular finance department, which simply means in this case, Tina will be able to see the records of Lalit, Jayesh, as well as Harish. It's not the case where she will not be able to see the records of Harish. Fine. Which means the first statement is wrong because it says that she will only be able to see the records of Harish. Ideally, she is able to see, she will be able to see everyone's records. So statement one is wrong. In this case, categorically, we are saying that not the Harish. So this statement, has this been a case where it was mentioned as well as Harish, then second statement would have been true, but right now it is false. The correct answer in this case is none of the above because she can see each and every record which is present in this particular object. All right, that's what is the correct answer because she can see everything. She can modify the records of everyone. All right, so that's what the answer for this particular question was. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it from my side. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Now, in the next session, again, we are going to learn something new, something interesting. And as always, keeping in mind to make your job ready as well as interview ready. So, please join me in the next session